Well, you could have this same plugin for Photoshop if you want to too. But speaking of Photoshop, let's go there, because what's my favorite noise reduction tool? Man, of all the noise reduction tools that I've ever played with, there's one that has got the power of 1,000 little pixel pushing men, man. Crazy. There's a company called, I know it's hard to pronounce, I think it's Imaginomic. It might be Imaginomic. Imaginomic. Great folks, by the way. Lou, I hope you're watching. We're going to take and we're going to open up that noisy file, all right? Let's go back, pull up this super noisy file. Oh boy, that's a noisy file. Let's zoom in on that and see how noisy that bad boy is. Holy guacamole, that's a noisy file, right? There you got it right there. You can still see the words, the text, but look when we go into the dark area on that globe. Look how noisy that is. Can you believe that? Oh my goodness, that's not usable. How are we going to fix that? This is a piece of cake. Sure, we're going to use Noiseware. I'm going to go to my filter menu, Imaginomic. I'll zoom in so you can see it. I've got two of their plugins that I like. I like one called Portraiture, but I've got the Noiseware Professional installed here. And it says, hey, Will, here's a new window for you. I'll make this nice and big so you can see what it does, because it's stupefying. And another reason why I like it, it's fast. It's faster than the Nix software. Let me move this over to the area that we had before, and you can see the crazy noise here. And then watch what happens when I let go of the mouse. It'll auto-process the way it thinks to. Boom. Can you believe that? How fast that gets rid of that? Let me zoom in a little closer for you. Here is no noise control. Here is, boom, Imaginomic Noiseware. How's that? Pow, noise, gone. Well, you're thinking, wait a minute, Will, what about the text there? Is that text on the wall still sharp, or did it just blur everything? Well, how about we just scoot over to that text and zoom in on it. Dun, da, da. It's all there, nice and sharp. Used to be that noise suppression software would make a mess out of images. It would blur everything to get rid of the noise, and then it would try to resharpen that to pull the softness back from the blur, and you'd end up with a big pile of goo. Those days are gone. These are much more sophisticated tools. So, Noise Ninja, also a terrific tool. My top pick, as much as the folks at Nix Software would probably wish I'd say Define, I love Define. It's a very elegant solution. Define does have a plugin for Lightroom. The Imaginomic software does not have Noiseware for Lightroom. They have some other things like Portraiture for Lightroom, but the Imaginomic folks, hopefully you're watching, please make me a Lightroom plugin for Noiseware, so that we can automate all this stuff. I love the way Lightroom syncs everything. When I save one of these files, for instance, I'm going to go ahead and save. Notice how fast, by the way, it does the final process. It is very speedy. That is a kind of a speedy laptop, but that's an extremely speedy tool here. We've got the ability now to save that file as... There we go, save it as JPEG, send it off to a lab, it's done. It's Photoshop, so I could make that a batch action, and I could have it go into the folder, open the next file, run the process, save as into another folder, and Photoshop will run that. But what I like about Lightroom is that once you do an application, you have the ability to apply that application, be it exposure control or noise reduction. You can apply that to the rest of the images just by clicking them all, shift-clicking them all, hitting sync. And what it'll do is it'll sync up everything you want to as fast as you can be right there in front of your eyes in Lightroom, and it's non-destructive, meaning it doesn't really apply all those changes until you export that file. So for me, I'm much more of a Lightroom guy, and I really like the fluidity of Lightroom because it organizes everything. I use a lot of external hard drives. For instance, I've got a shoot next week in Mexico City. I've got 4 days. It's going to be a laptop, cameras and lenses, external drive, and a passport. That's it. And I'll be shooting in the day. I'll go back to the hotel. I'll put everything on an external drive. If there's any high noise images from high ISO, we will fix those. We'll store them on the external hard drive, and then overnight I'll use the internet to upload those files to our file server here. That way, when I fly back from Mexico and say my stuff gets lost or stolen or destroyed, it doesn't matter because my work, my client work, it's a paying job too, is safely stored up on the internet. I can get those files anytime I want to. And if I need to pass those files right away to my client, the noise is already fixed. So you need to find out what works for you. I call it my process. My process of photography is one where I have to decide when I'm going to kick that camera up to ISO 1600 or beyond. I need to decide what my shutter speed is going to be. How comfortable am I hand holding a 20mm lens at 1/8 of a second? Well, depends on how big or how detailed that image is going to be, right? Or on the other side, what happens when I have to hand hold a long lens, a 200 or a 300? What's my shutter speed that I'm comfortable holding? Should I use a tripod or a monopod? Well, anytime you can, right? So you find out what system works for you so that you can build your own process for creating gorgeous low light photos. But please, don't be shooting everything in 3200 when you don't need to shoot in 3200 and spend all that time inside your computer trying to fix those problems. Take it from your buddy Crockett. Try to solve the problems in the camera before you shoot the picture because you'll be so much better off.